Want to take advantage of today's market? Call the man with over 17 years in the business, Thomas Meissen of Red and White Realty. Call him today at 902-233-5111 for solid expert advice.
Okay. If you gotta go, Wayne, don't be gone too long.
All right.
Sometimes it's hard to fill the space you leave. The morning sun, she tries and spills her light all over me, shining on the dust of dark, dark dreams, floating bits of doubt in the new day air I breathe. Shatter goes the beautiful myth where I believe I'm the one you need to be with. Scatter goes the last of my girlhood. Could it be that I've somehow misunderstood? And if you gotta go, then don't be going too long. I know you gotta go, but don't be going too long. I feel like you don't know I need you to make me strong. And if you gotta go, then don't be going too long. Haven't given you enough to take when you leave. Time, love, and trust to say yes, and I wanna believe. I can feel the earth move beneath my feet. If it all comes down, it'll be the end of me. Shatter goes the beautiful myth where I believe I'm the one you need to be with. Scatter goes the last of my girlhood. Could it be that I've somehow misunderstood? And if you gotta go, then don't be gone too long. I know you gotta go, but don't be going too long. I feel like you don't know I need you to make me strong. And if you gotta go, then don't be gone too long. Oh, and if you gotta go, then don't be gone too long.
Hello, world, and welcome to the Wolf's Den Radio today, and welcome, Leona Burkey. Hello, my
Hi,
dear.
Wayne.
How are ya?
I'm good.
You're-
I've missed you.
I miss you too. It's been a crazy year.
It has.
You know, we were supposed to do the Carlton thing for your release for
I know.
part 2. You know, it's funny how the Sitting Tight series went from an EP
Yes.
to one show,
Yes.
and then to, well, wait a minute, I'm not done.
Yeah.
And now we got to go back and do part 2. And all the people that were going to do part 1 were pretty much ready to do part 2 with a couple of add-ons.
Yep.
But what happened? COVID.
COVID happened.
But you know what? Look at all the people.
Yeah.
Look at all the people that are on
I
here
know.
now.
All-star.
Tell us all about it.
All-star
Come
crew.
on, tell us about this journey
Well,
because
I'm going to tell you lots of things. So, first part of the journey. Do you see the chair?
Yeah.
See the chair? Where am I pointing this?
right
Over
there.
here. Chair and Cape Smoky. An original piece of artwork by the great Christopher Gorey of Ingonish. The man does clouds. So I emailed him a really long email. He thought I was crazy, but I love his work. I have
Yeah.
a couple pieces of his that I'm like, hey, so I'm thinking about a chair. I really like old chairs, and the thing you do with the clouds, where it's like kind of blue, but then it's kind of purple, and it's all mixed up.
Yeah.
And this was like before all of this happened. So he was like, absolutely. does this original. This is an original oil painting of his that that I commissioned for just for the record. And we did all this stuff, but called it Sitting Tight completely by accident.
Yeah.
I didn't know COVID was coming.
No.
So we did 4 songs, late 2019.
That's here. That was the first time you and I had a chat.
We had a big chat about it. It was really wonderful, and I kind of had this big bunch of songs that I wanted to do a certain kind of treatment with, and I was working with Andrew AJH Gillis.
Yeah.
And we were working out of Charles Austin's place, Ocean Floor. So, you know how it is. You get a little crew together and you make some beds, and we had a really fun time. But we had only done the 4 songs. So I kind of dug around and I dusted off a couple, and there was a couple brand new ones, and it kind of fit into the Sitting Tight vibe. So we went back in to do another 6. And then, like you said, the COVID happened. So we ended up, the silver lining was that we ended up getting some really great players on the record who did some tracking at home, right? Because everybody was stuck at home. So we had our beds, and then we went in, you know, all isolated, and we patched together what we could. And the farthest guy is Roddy Crowell from Nashville. So if you're listening,
wow.
Thank you.
Hi, Roddy.
Yeah.
Thanks for the contribution, buddy. We love it.
He kind of plays with all kinds of people, but was the touring keyboard guy for the Deer Tick, and I think he still does that. So that's kind of a big deal.
That's kind of a big deal.
Anyway, he did such a beautiful job on keys, but we have Darren McMullen's on this record.
Nice.
Phil Sador plays a ton of guitar and all kinds of things. And my kind of my home team guys were Jordan Murphy on drums. So he is part of the group Walrus and does lots of side playing and does all kinds of wonderful things. And you Tom Rich playing bass and doing some backing vocals. I have like boys on this record singing gang vocals with me. And
you know, and it's funny, I'm seeing Tom playing bass, and I'm so used to him playing guitar, acoustic and singing and stuff, right?
He's a fantastic bass player.
He really is. Yeah, and he's a good musician all the way around.
Yeah, really creative, and you know, we went in with just like some rough acoustic songs, and the boys contributed so much. And Kev Corbett plays on one of the tracks, and even John Mullane from In-Flight Safety.
Really, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking like you're not fooling around here.
We got very lucky.
Wow.
Because people were just kind of sitting at home.
Well, you know what? That's it. And I mean, like pretty much anybody you call up now and say, "Hey, psst, got a gig, want to do it?"
Yeah, people.
You know, and people are like, "Yeah, what's the password, right?"
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised. You know, like I mean, I'm hoping I'm not giving anybody any ideas, but I'm really surprised that, you know, like the underground speakeasies and that haven't really come back because of the way people are feeling. But you know, we're getting there.
We're getting there. You know, it's such a fine line. You know, and I guess we just have to sit tight a little longer, Wayne.
But you know what? The thing is, I am so happy in one way that things turned out the way that they did turn out, because we started out with just a little EP here.
Yeah, it was a little experiment.
You know, I mean, and but the little experiment was such a tasty little treat. It's like when somebody gives you like 2 spoonfuls of this really good dessert, and you're like, really? That's all you're gonna give me? Is that?
Can I have a bowl full, please?
Yeah.
We kind of felt the same way when we were working on it. We were like, that was really fun.
And now you got 10 more.
Yeah.
So basically, we've got a really, really long
No,
album.
It's actually 10 in total. So
okay.
First 4 tracks on the EP, which was, we just kind of put it out there, and it was super fun. And once that came out, we were already working on the rest of it.
Well,
right?
you were telling me you were working
10 total.
When you were doing the 4, though, the last time we talked, you said something about you weren't done and you were working on some then.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so let's talk about when you put this out and what usually happens when you put something like this out. What happens?
Well, we were trying to pair it with a show that I do at the Carlton every year called the Shine Blue show, and that this year was our 6th annual show. And it's not like, I'm not the most prolific putter-outer of records, you know what I mean? Like, I take my time. But I try to have something for the people once a year. And for my 10 fans and my friends.
Oh,
No, I'm just
come
kidding.
on.
So I try to have something out every year, and then just kind of, I'm a creature of habit. The Carlton is such a wonderful venue.
Yeah.
So 6 years ago, I approached them. They started hosting this annual show. So we just called it Shine Blue. I've had a variety of guests and different things. Try to put out music once a year on that night. So people can come out, and the benefit is for Autism Nova Scotia. So all the money from Shine Blue shows goes to this organization that I love very much. So this year, it was weird because the record was done, and then everything was pretty good over the summer. And I'm like, and the Carlton was good, and there was still some bookings happening, and we were kind of, we're like, okay, let's wait and see. So we booked something for late November, and as we all know, the fall wasn't that great of a time. And our little second wave here in Nova Scotia kind of started creeping in November. I remember there was a rash of shows, and geez, there was a couple exposures, and we were like, oh my God, we're going to have a heart attack. So I talked to John Cornwall, who's always a guest at this show, and he's our sound guy at the Carlton, and we just, kind of talked to the audience of what's the best move here, and that was to eliminate the audience.
Completely.
I'm so glad we did.
Yeah.
Because it was a week out, and a week went by, and things were kind of worse.
Yeah.
So we had, I had the band with me, and there were no people in the audience, and we just live streamed the show.
Yeah.
But we had the best fundraising year yet, because people were
there to watch,
game to support, and we had a couple thousand people tune in. And it was really a nice experience, and that was the last time that the Carlton's lights were on for a little while there.
Yeah.
And now they're back at it. So it was a really special evening, and I did a mini version of the Shine Blue show in my hometown in St. Peters. That was the week prior.
Yeah.
Nobody's real skeevy yet, so we had a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we raised a ton of cash.
But that's the thing. You're blessed in that regard, is that you do have some people that are, that have been there for all of the shows, and that, and I know your family and your extended family in Cape Breton. I mean, come on. We know what they're like. If they know you, they're supporting you.
Yeah.
And even if they
really
just heard about you, said, oh, yes, they want to be a part of it.
Yeah. I'm very grateful for that, for sure.
And again, like you said, we had been out, and we had been downtown, and we were supposed to go to another bar. We went to a show, and then we were supposed to go to a bar, and for just some crazy reason, we decided, no, let's just go back up to the hotel room. Yeah. And 3 days later, we hear the bar that we were supposed to be going to, and the time frame that we were going to be there, they were asking people to go to get tested. And I mean, I can't go down that road. That's just a scary point for me, to get to there.
I'm really glad. Everybody's just guessing and trying to figure out the best way to do things. But, it was late November, and I'm like, thank goodness we decided to go that way, because it would have been the same. Be calling people up like, sorry, but you better go for the swamp. Yeah,
exactly.
You came to my show. Oh, my gosh. But, we seem to be turning the corner. I hope so.
Let's hope so. Now, I know that you're not going to be giving up anything anytime soon. You're going to just keep doing what you do.
Yeah.
And
I can, still do it, right?
Well, I mean, that's the whole beautiful thing about this. Before we go to a song, I just want to say one thing. I'm looking at your chair here. Many years ago, my sister, I don't know, I can't remember. My wife and I were living here, so it would have been in the 90s. My younger sister met our birth mother, and she went to Newfoundland, and she came home with our grandmother's rocking chair, but handmade in Newfoundland.
Beautiful.
Like probably 75, 100 years before that, and she came home, and she had it strapped and wrapped in plastic and everything on the roof of their car, taking it back to Ontario. And all I can remember saying to my sister is this, and she's all into repurposing and, and making stuff new again and everything like that. And I begged her, please don't take that home and paint it white.
Just leave it.
Just leave it alone because it was, made with that old French varnish and everything on it. And I don't know whatever happened to it.
Still
But
had like her bum marks in it, you know. I'm a big listen.
she had 22 kids, so I
Alex-
imagine there was a few bum
Alex,
marks in it.
If we start talking about old chairs, you need to stop us. Stop us. Somebody stop us. I love old chairs. This chair is taken from the, what is it? It's Robin's Egg Blow from the Peacock Cafe. Anyway, it's right in Ingonish.
Wow.
Buddy was like, hey, that my friend Leona wants me to paint a picture. I need that chair. And he put it out on the Cape and he drew and painted
Wow.
my island.
Play me a song, and when we come back, we'll talk about your beautiful island. Ladies and gentlemen, right here on Wolf's Den Radio and CIOE 97.5, the home of East Coast music, we have the very talented Leona Burkey. Owning your own home is a big deal. Whether it's you don't have any rental payments anymore, you're downsizing, you need an in-law suite, maybe you just need the equity. A good home is always good for good equity. But to get started, to buy in that home, you need a good, solid real estate agent. Thomas Meissen from Red and White Realty, he's your guy. With over 17 years experience in the business, he'll take care of you firsthand from start to finish. Good, solid advice, 17 years in the business. Give him a call, 902-233-5111 for solid, excellent guidance from a pro with over 17 years in the business. Thomas Meissen from Red and White Realty, 902-233-5111.
Thank you, Wayne. All right, this one is for the island. It's called Morley Road. It's hard to think when you're non-stop talking to me. As much as I love your company, I'm lost in a regret-filled reverie. Turn right here, and you will see. She winds and she weaves past old farms and glens of green, from Blue Brador to where the sweet Myra flows. I'm going to be with them again. My old man told time and again, there's no shortcuts in life, you know. But I found one. past old farms and glens of green, from the blue Brador to where the sweet Myra flows. I'm going to be with them again. My old man told me time and again, 'cause no shortcuts in life, you know. But I found one, and I found the one running down old Molly Road. Just rolling down old Molly Road.
Down the Morley Road. Now,
Down the Morley Road.
people that know Cape Breton
Yeah,
would know that road.
yeah,
And I heard a little reference in there of our lovely Myra.
yeah.
So now tell me,
Oh yeah.
how much do you really miss Cape Breton?
I don't.
No?
Not anymore.
No.
Because it's only 3 hours away.
Yeah.
And they've almost finished twinning the highway.
Almost
which
now,
will make
eh?
it 2.5 people.
You know
so
what?
I don't miss it at all.
Do you know what the beautiful thing about
I am
if
there.
they twin that all the way, no more accidents along that stretch.
thank goodness,
Thank
right?
goodness. What?
Yeah.
But you know, and you're right. I mean, think about it when you were small and little and you were going back and forth. I mean, when you got to the point where you saw that sign, "Welcome to Cape Breton," it was
Yeah,
a long
like,
haul,
thank
baby.
God, we made it here alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, geez. You know, I spent a decade in my 20s, or in that time in your life when you're on the move.
Yep.
On the move.
Yep.
And I was out west for a decade, and it was absolutely wonderful.
Yep.
And I pined for home, like every Cape Bretoner does, and every
Yeah.
Maritimer does. And we put the sign in the lawn 10 years to the day, and we've been back here 10 years. I feel like I just
Wow.
got back myself.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful to not be plagued with chronic homesickness. It
Yeah.
makes room in my brain for other things.
Well, it's nice that you can actually look at waves instead of wheat waves.
Exactly.
I lived in
So I love
Saskatchewan.
it.
Yeah, I lived
Yeah.
in Saskatchewan, and I can remember living right on the outskirts of town. And on the days that the wind blew, oh my God, melancholy. You wanted to go home because you watched the fields and they were doing this, right?
Yeah.
And all that reminded me of was the waves.
Yeah.
But the one thing that was funny, because people used to say, other friends of mine that were out there used to say, I miss the smell of the ocean. And I guess when I was a kid, I was around it so much, I really never
didn't
paid
smell
any
it.
attention to
Yeah.
it.
You only
So I didn't
smell it
get
when
it.
you go when you're gone.
And then I remember coming home one year and going to Point Pleasant Park, going out to the old lighthouse out on the old breakwater.
Yeah.
And the spray hitting me in the face and the smell. And I was always like, oh, yeah,
There it is.
there it is. That's that smell. And I thought, yeah, I can see where they miss it. I mean, I can't say it's my favorite smell in the world, but that feeling of the water hitting you on the face, that,
lovely.
there's nothing in the world that
No.
can replace that.
It's nothing better.
No.
It never gets old.
No.
I live out near Peggy's Cove, so we're out on the rocks, like in the Prospect area. So there's a hike out there, High Head, and it's a local favorite. And on good days, yeah, the big combers come in and spray you in
Yeah.
the face. And
We
I
were-
still love it.
Yeah, we were just out that way the other night actually, and I can't wait for summer. I have some friends that live down that way that boat, and I know that's something that you love to do.
Yeah.
I've never seen you in Prospect boating, but I've seen you in pictures of you in Cape Breton
Yep.
with your boat. But I know that you like the water.
Love it.
Yeah. So now, when you were growing up, where was the influences coming at you from then?
Oh, geez. Before I go down that rabbit hole, I'm taking you back.
Okay,
we need
listen.
to go back because you asked me a question and I didn't answer it.
You go back.
And the question was, what is Morley Road? What the heck is that?
Okay.
And I just have to say, do you know who David Stone is?
No.
Okay, so David Stone's a Cape Breton native singer-songwriter, But he spent years and years in Halifax. Very historical writer, really prolific songwriter. And, I grew up watching him and, Roger Stone and Cyril McPhee, all those guys play. That's my hometown boys, right?
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, David was part of that crew, and anyway, I love him. But the very last summer, like for real summer festival that I played was the acoustic roots in Two Rivers by the Myra there.
Oh.
And yeah, like Donnie Campbell's.
Tom Mills.
And Sandy
Tom
McDonald's.
Mills and them
not
talk
Donnie
about.
Campbell, but Sandy McDonald's festival.
Yeah.
Sandy's festival. So David was playing we were playing the same bill. So he and I were playing together. So I picked him up because he doesn't have a vehicle. So I said, David, we're going to go to the Myra. And then, of course, being from Cape Breton, we're making fun of each other the whole way and telling stories, and it's foolishness. And then he tells me, Leona, we're gonna turn right here. We're gonna turn right here. And David talks a lot. So I was like, what do you mean? He was like, we're gonna turn right down this gravel road and we'll be in the Myra in 10 minutes. Like it's a shortcut. And I was like, well, I got to be out of my mind going down gravel roads with this old guy. Like, I don't even know where we're going, and we were teasing each other anyways. And it really was an awesome shortcut. You bypass all of Sydney and boom, we come over a hill and there's the Myra, right? So I'm like, you dog, you're right. You saved us 20 minutes. And then we were laughing about that. It was also the last day that I saw Laura Smith on this earth. Yeah, she was playing the same festival. So it was kind of a lot of special things. And then we got home and David was like, wasn't that a time? And he was like, Morley Road, we should write a song about that, Leona. And I'm like, sure, yeah. He sent me a couple of lines and then I stole them. I gave him the co-write, of course. And then the rest of it is more about that day, that sometimes you can find a shortcut.
Yeah.
And how lovely, that vibe of an outdoor music festival is, and you tear out your hair trying to get there on time, and then once you get there, let's have a quick tune-up, let's go get them, right? Like it's the best thing ever. So that's where Morley Road came from. I call it my modern song for the Myra.
Your modern Myra song.
Yeah.
Well,
modern version. Okay, now we go back.
A friend of mine goes to Two Rivers. They camp there quite a bit.
Yeah, it's
and I wish I
sweet.
could remember what the name of his. There's just him and another guy. Both of them are named Tom, I believe. His name is Tom Mills, but he plays at that festival quite a bit himself. He used to play with the Mizzen Men back in the day with Wayne Burke and them back in the day. But yeah, he talks about that festival all the time, and. I don't think I've ever pined for anything as much as I'm pining for the festival season to come back.
It hurts, doesn't it?
Oh, does it ever?
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember the vibe of that.
Yeah.
So let's go back and like growing up, what were the things that, what was the thing that really pushed you towards music? Was it a family member or was it a friend or was it just something in you?
Don't even know. Like I was little. I was like probably 7 or 8 and really, we're talking a tiny village, right? So there was maybe 500 people living there. Not a big place, very small, very Acadian. And all you had to do was school and blah, blah, blah. And I just joined the school choir because we had a choir teacher who was amazing. One of these amazing teachers / givers to the community. And she taught everyone how to sing in a choir. And we were like, I'm like, well, I want to do that. I might have been in grade 2 or something. And I remember I sang what you had to sing was "Oh Canada" to try out for the choir. And I was like all of 7. So I barely remember this. But so she's like, sing "Oh Canada," and I just sang it at the top of my lungs, and she put a star by my name. And that Christmas, I got to sing a solo, which was huge.
Oh,
and
man.
I was just a little runt of a kid. And then she was like, no, you can do it. Like, you're a good singer. And then she taught me a little bit about breathing, a little bit about singing, and she really, when you're that young and you get encouraged, that's
you jump
when
all
things
over
bite
it.
you,
You
right?
jump
that's when
all
you get
over it.
bitten by the bug, right? And Johnny Webb, "Touch of Grey,"
Yeah, yeah, no, Donnie, yeah.
So he grew up in my home village, and the Webbs were the musical greats in our community, his dad and all of his brothers. And his son Derek was my age, and Donnie had a slow winter, and he decided to give guitar lessons. And I took, I don't know, 4 or 5 months of guitar lessons from Donnie. And I have not taken a lesson since, so I always tell him, like, Donnie, you taught me everything I know.
Oh, my.
And then he's like, yeah, so when you're on stage playing clams, dropping clams, because you're not practicing, don't mention my name, right? But it was like I was 8 years old. So, you know, the first song I ever learned was Bad Moon Rising.
CCR, yeah.
8 years old.
Wow.
And we were all playing the heck out of it. You know, we were so excited.
Oh,
and
my.
Donnie taught us all the rockers, and we loved it. And yeah, it was less than, maybe 6 months, maybe 5, 6 months of lessons.
Wow.
I can't even. And
That's absolutely
And
amazing.
then both sides of my family were Acadian, but my mom was hardcore Acadian, you know, and she spoke French in the home, and all of her people were in Shetty Camp, so we'd head up there all the time. And that's when, you know, when you'd have the little kid and they'd stick you in a corner
Yeah,
and
sing.
make you play
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the relatives,
yeah,
and there was
yeah.
no like, oh, not right now.
No, get there and do it.
So when you're that young, you know, I was 8 and I remember I had a big guitar, you know, and playing it, and somebody was trying to find me a guitar, and I learned all these old French songs from my grandma, a bunch of Charlie Pride, and then that's it, you know, and
Yeah.
folk rock from the 60s, 70s. My folks had all those vinyls, and I listened to the heck out of those, and it all got smashed together. And it's still like your influences go into your brain when you're really young. You know, I remember when you have Wave Theory there, when I was up in Point Coney recording that with the boys, we were setting up, and they were like, why is this song is in 6/8 timing? That's an ancient, that's like old timey, like waltzy kind of.
Was it an old French waltz?
And it's the meter of those old French songs. They
waltzes,
were all 6/8, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of callback. And they were all about people dying at sea.
Yeah.
Mothers dying and dying.
Yeah.
That's what old Acadian songs are about. So maybe I feel like I learned that it's okay for songs to be sad during that period because they were all sad.
Yeah.
And I would sing, and my all the relatives, you know, the Acadians, they would all cry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this must be.
But it was
going
their,
good.
but it was their healing. I mean, you know, those songs got passed down
Yeah.
for a reason,
Yeah.
and you know, for a lot of them, it was so they wouldn't forget.
Yeah.
And a lot of the younger generation didn't get that. They just thought they were a bunch of morbid old songs, right? And you know, the
Yeah.
old people were just morbid.
healing. That was
But
the
it
healing
wasn't.
thing.
It was a way to remember, and you know, and to pay homage to the
Yeah,
people that
agreed.
had gone on before
Yeah.
and that had died at sea.
Yeah.
And for the mothers, I mean, let's face it, how many mothers died in childbirth or shortly thereafter? You know, 100 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So true that, right? So
You
all
know?
those old songs, very sad and melodic, very melodic. So you know,
Yeah.
you kind of drag all those things with you. And you know, in my hometown, it was like, okay, well, that one plays the fiddle, and that one Highland dances, and that one,
Yeah.
you know, can step dance like a demon.
Yeah.
And well, Leona's one of the singers.
Yeah.
Like that's it. You had to find something.
Yeah.
And fiddle, I just
I was the
couldn't catch
misfit.
on to it.
I was
Yeah.
the misfit.
Yeah.
He's the
So-
bad one. Stay away from him.
Yeah. And then, you know, here we are. So
Yeah.
all those things, you know, kind of, they certainly get filed away somewhere.
But you
right?
know what? They get filed away, but they also come forward in your writing and in your style because you still bring all of those things to the front of the table. And, you know, like the timing may not be that timing anymore, but still in all,
still there,
the essence
yeah.
of what it was is still right
Yeah.
there. It's not far away.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not
Yeah.
gone anywhere at all, really.
Yeah, true that. And I don't worry that much, you know, like there's everybody that, you know, if you're compelled to make music, you should probably just make what you make and not think too much about it.
Oh.
Because the next person is going to make what they make. You know what I mean? It's not my responsibility to hone a style. It's my responsibility to let it let it out, write all that stuff out, I guess.
You have no idea how much I love you right now.
Oh.
Oh my. Yes. No, because you know what? You have said something that I have believed my entire life. You don't have any choice. There's nothing you can do about it. It's got to be done, and it's gonna come out the way that it's gonna come out.
Yeah.
And right now, can we let it come out of you with another song, please?
Oh my God. I'm trying to play some new stuff.
Yes, play me
off
something
this
new.
new record.
Yes, play
because
me.
soon it's going to be on the Spotify, and then the whole world will know about it.
No, we want to
So
get it
now
out. We
we're
want to be the
still-
ones to get it out there
You know,
before
we're
the
still
whole
in the
world.
quiet time.
But the whole world is listening tonight.
But I have like had a couple nights. Well, you do this anyway when you record music. Like, you just become the biggest egoist for like the first month after your tracks are done because you listen to them and you're driving around. You have to do the car listen, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, these tunes are so awesome. I'm gonna die. It's so good. And then that wears off. And then you start worrying about, like, geez, I hope people like them or whatever. But there's like this little honeymoon phase. So I'm still kind of in the honeymoon phase.
Well,
where I'm like,
when you're
I
done the
love
song,
it.
I want to ask you if you pick. But I want to talk to you about the song and the songwriting and stuff because what you said is so poignant. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm gonna drop clams on this one. No, I think I got it.
You got her?
All right.
Looking to own your first or next new to you home? Stop dreaming and start owning. Call Thomas at 902-233-5111 to make your dreams come true at Red and White Realty. That's Thomas Meissen, 233-5111, 902-233-5111.
So this song is called "The Book of Obscure Sorrows," and everything sounds like a pandemic song, but it's all by accident. Like none of this was all done before anything happened.
You're psychic.
So it's like prophetic stuff. It's really prophetic stuff. Sonder is a new word that I borrowed from a book of obscure sorrows, surely written for these modern times. And everyone amongst and all around you just passing by, living their own lives. And I can feel my tired heart catching on to my soul. And I wanted so much and I worked so hard, so I'm told. And when they meet, will it set me free? Or will I have just grown old? I know you're trying hard to teach me something. I've never been good at learning lessons, but I make a note every time. My happiness is a broken line and it's drawn to you. Can you see me through? And I can feel my tired heart catching on to my soul. And I wanted so much and I worked so hard, so I'm told. And when they meet, will it set me free? Or will I have just grown old? If you get there first, can you send back word? Did you hear the angels sing? It's such a shame that the price you pay is
in the Wolf's Den, ladies and gentlemen. Well. Now, didn't you just go and just spark something in me there a minute ago? You know, I've always said that people really don't have a choice. If you're an artist, I've always said there's two types of people that play. People that can pick up an instrument, play it, put it down, walk away, come back 6 months later, pick it up, play it, walk away, do it again. But there's people, it's like breathing.
Yeah.
They have to do it. And if they don't do it, it builds up. And it gets bad.
Yeah.
It gets bad.
It can be bad.
It gets bad because you don't get, like I've said to people, so what happens if you were in an accident and you lost the use of your hand and you couldn't play your guitar anymore? They said, I'd find something else. I'd find another way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like songwriting, you know? I mean, you talk to people about songwriting and everybody's different.
Yeah.
But the one thing that is the same with every one of them is that there's words in their head that need to come out. Some of them, it's volumes upon volumes upon volumes of songs.
Yeah.
Other people, they fight for every letter to get a song. And other people, they just, you know, it's just like the ticker tape at the stock market. They just go by their head. And they can't write them fast enough.
I'm not that.
No. So, now, okay, so you got 10 songs. And we're looking at a year and a half.
Yeah.
But you had some of these already.
Oh, yeah. You always have the stockpile. Like when you're a songwriter. You have
like kindling,
you got
isn't
the
it?
stockpile. And some are like, you know, some are really fine pieces and you know you're going to do something with them.
Yeah.
Others are just little remnants of things. Like I'm not not really a confessional type songwriter. I gather up experiences. Some are mine, some are a group experience or, you know, an impression or a story relayed by someone else. But what I chase is trying to get that experience into song form. And I'm looking for some kind of authenticity, but when it's done, it's done. Like, I'm not sure how exactly I get there, but that's what I'm chasing. So if I'm changing words or if I'm changing arrangements or whatever, when it's captured, then it's captured. And then I'm happy. And I never change it again. And then it's, you know, that's kind of it.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, when you're done, are you done?
Usually, yeah.
Because, I mean, you know, like Isaac Kent from Dolly Van Gogh produced their album, and he said, I get so far, it's done, it goes, and that's it. And I said, like, you're weird, dude. Because most musicians, it's never done, right?
Yeah.
Like, they hear it, and that's what I was going to say to you earlier. You were saying about being in the car and listening to it on the radio. And it's first, I love it. And then you know, like, then the honeymoon's over,
you freak out.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, and you're like, okay, well, we're still warm and fuzzy. And then all of a sudden it was like, you know, you didn't put the toothpaste cap back on.
Yeah.
People start criticizing their stuff, and they go, I could have changed that. I could have did that different. I could have held that a little longer. You know, I don't like that note.
Yeah, no, I'm not picky like that at all. Like, my favorite process is kind of, if the song is done, like, it's done at home. Like, I don't go into the studio and be like, how do y'all think we should do this ending? Like, I take very little feedback. Sometimes there'll be a pause here, or, hey, well, it might be a good idea. Let's turn that around and bring it around again. But the bones are done. So what I liked about this last record is we brought in the bones, and the guys helping with the bed tracks, you know, your drums and bass, and, you know, a guy like Phil Sidor. Within 2 hours of looking at these bones, we had things fleshed out so quickly because they're really creative.
Well, you look at the crew you had.
And on the spot playing, right? But that's what I liked. I really like the same with recording, like 1 or 2 takes. Let's not force it, because then it starts to force,
no good.
And it all gets weird. So it's very natural, and I've been really fortunate that most, you know, recordings that I've been involved in and tracked on, we've always been like supernatural, really really efficient, not a lot of nitpicking.
Well, I don't.
Life's too short.
I'm sorry, I don't really see you as much of a nitpicker.
No, I'm not.
No.
I kind of just go for it. So
Just, yeah.
yeah. So, but but at the same time, it's very hard to capture that kind of vibe in the studio because the red light's on and all the pieces are moving. But we managed to do it this time, and I really, really loved it. Yeah.
Well, I think everything that I've heard you do, you've nailed it, and I can't see anything being any different at any time, just because is you are that laid back. So I figure that when you figure you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wherever there.
Yeah, exactly. Wherever there might be at that moment. Maybe it's walking on the beach.
Yeah.
When you're supposed to be somewhere else.
Sure. Yeah. Never done that.
You never done that, no. But but the thing is, I think that for some artists, they're not comfortable with themselves, so that when they release something, and I mean, let's face it, a lot of times you're putting out a piece of you.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's got to be daunting. I mean, you've got to wonder, I mean, is this gonna suck hard, or are people gonna like it?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're bearing a piece of your soul to people, regardless if it's your story or it's just a song that you wrote.
Yeah.
It's still something that's coming from inside of you.
It is, but you get it all back, right? Because there's always, if there's a song where I'm like, I got it, I'm there, but the ones that I feel most strongly about would be the most authentic to me, like as close to the bone as I was trying to get.
Yeah.
But then if you make the effort to make it that real, and that authentic, those are the songs that people respond to. It's a direct equation.
They touch them because those same feelings are emitted in them, right?
Yeah.
So
if I'm like, oh, I really need a song that's kind of mid-tempo and more country sounding, and I'll just make one up. People don't respond to that song. They respond to the song that was poured over, right? That is real,
the one that woke you up at 3:00 in the morning with a line that
that's the beauty, right, of communing, right, over music. And people know, like your ears know, right?
Yeah.
So the less contrived a song is in a package, the more people respond to it. So
I think
that, you just follow the signs, right?
Yeah. The more real you can make it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to add anything to it. One of the things that, I mean, I don't play, I don't sing, so I don't criticize. But one of the things that sometimes I have a little bit of an issue with is when people, what I call them rolls, where they'll take a note and they'll carry that note 5 or 6 times, and they kind of roll that note to give it that sustain. And to show me that you've got that range and you can do that sustain. Please don't. Just sing,
He's not a fan of the rolls.
No, I'm not really. I mean, I got enough on my belly. I don't need any more. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not criticizing anybody singing. No way. Because I can't sing. But I think there are people that put more to it than they need to, and if they would just allow themselves to do what they do without adding something else that they think they need to do, they don't need to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to worry a lot about stuff in my 20s and 30s, and now, over time, you tend to worry less about that kind of stuff. Like people, if you're like playing music, you're making music, like you worry about what people think. Yeah, you worry about what you might look like on stage. You worry about, like, my big hang up is guitar playing, because I really, as soon as I start singing, the guitar takes secondary. So I really have to make sure I practice, because I'll be like, yep, my left hand just forgot an entire song, and we're just gonna keep going. Like, it just happens.
Yeah.
And then, so I used to really worry about that stuff. But, time is a wonderful teacher, and I don't worry about it. I don't really worry about that anymore. I don't worry about anything.
I'd be worried if I seen you worried, I think.
Yeah, but you know, it's not like I didn't write songs when I was 14.
Yeah.
But they were friggin' terrible. And, you know, it's not like I didn't write songs in my 20s, but they were 90% terrible. And I have one or two from that time that are golden, you know, that I keep, you know, on the roster. And then 30s, oh, getting better, right? Late 30s, oh, something's happening, right? Mm-hmm. And losing hang-ups, you know. I find, especially as a female, something really wonderful happens when you turn 40. Karen, I know, I'm breaking the third wall.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Big sister, you know what I'm talking about. It is awesome. So then you're like, well, you know, what am I worried about?
Yeah.
But then that opens up parts of your brain, right? So songwriting is really fun these days. It's like dipping a soap spoon into a river that's just going by.
Yeah, and hoping.
And some days are busy and you're like, oh, there's the river, and dang, you know, I don't have time to sit by the river today, but maybe tomorrow, you know. And every time I sit there, like, something real good happens. And I listen to a ton of music too, so it just keeps everything just keeps churning, you know.
So now what do you listen to? What do you like to listen to?
I try to listen to everything. Yeah. And lately I've been really on, like, kind of the last couple years, I've been really trying to listen to what, like, my contemporaries are putting out, right? So if it's cats in the East Coast scene, what are people putting out, and how can I support them? Especially this past year. Like, my listening catalog is strictly, like, regional music, and doing some Patreon stuff and trying to support the community, right, best we can. And
exactly. You know, people say to me, have you heard of this band, or have you heard of that band? And I'm like, where are they from? And they say, oh, they're a Nashville band, or they're from Kentucky or Pennsylvania. And I said, you know
I've been
what?
keeping it pretty regional.
I said, I don't have time to listen even to the classics anymore.
Yeah.
Because I am completely and totally surrounded and immersed in East Coast music.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing wrong with being immersed in the East Coast of Canada's music scene, let me tell you.
Not a bad
Not a bad place to be. But, you know, like, it doesn't matter if you're in the far reaches of New Brunswick or if you're in the outposts of Newfoundland. There is music being made.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and we are blessed. I mean, when our festival season is good, there's a lot of music festivals in the Maritimes.
Can barely get to them.
You know, I mean, we need another summer because we've only got 8 weekends. And we need at least 20 to get things done.
Yeah, it's such a strange time, you know, but I hope that the silver lining is that people value music more and value the communal experience, right? Like, it's nice that we can have access. Like, I've caught a ton of live stream shows from, you know, bands that are kind of huge that I've really admired, that I probably may have never seen in concert because, you know, of this reason or that reason, you know, there's so much music that I enjoy and appreciate. So you get to have, like, kind of that live experience now. We have a lot of access to music, but I think people really miss consuming it communally. Something very special happens. And now that it's not there, people are crying for it, right? And it makes it very, you know, you don't know what you've got, right, till it's gone. So I really hope that, I think we'll see a revaluation of music and what it's worth in people's lives, you know, and theater too, and, like, all the performance arts.
The arts, and we also need to look at the way we view the service industry. Okay,
indeed.
The people that have taken this one in the guts are musicians, waiters, restaurant owners, and the people in other forms of the arts. We're the ones that are taking it in the teeth. And you're exactly right, and we've become very, very big vocal people about this here on the Wolf's Den. We will go to the theater and pay $20
Yeah.
or $40 and go and get their popcorn, and we won't pay $5 for a CD.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, we won't pay $20 for 2 hours of music, but we'll pay that to go to a show, because music they're having fun. Who cares if they're having fun? Doesn't that mean that it's not really, people say, well, it's not a job because they're having fun. You know what? Look at everything that goes on behind the scenes that brings that song to you, and then maybe you'll have an idea how much it's worth.
Yeah.
And I mean, we see things in their finished place.
Yeah.
We see a shiny TV, we don't mind paying $1,000 because, hey, it's a smart TV. Right?
Yeah,
but we won't pay somebody that spent countless hours crafting their skills so that they can entertain us and take us to a place that nothing else in the world can take us to.
Yeah.
There is no other thing that can take you where music takes you. Not drugs, not alcohol, none of that. They can take you to some pretty wacky places, but they can't take you to where music takes you.
It's true, Wayne.
And we need to start paying for it. We need to consider how long it took a musician to get to the gig and how long it's going to take him to get home and everything he's got to do in between. Not just entertaining you, but getting ready for it and tearing it all apart when he's done and taking it back home. Hey folks, are you looking to sell your home in today's crazy busy market? You need a professional. You need Thomas Meissen of Red and White Realty to help you sell your home. With over 17 years experience in the business, Thomas knows what he's doing. So if you need good, solid real estate advice and you need somebody to sell your house, you need to call Thomas Meissen at Red and White Realty at 902-233-5111. And here at the Wolf's Den, we're happy to have Thomas and Red and White Realty as a sponsor of the Wolf's Den. For all your real estate needs, give them a call. That's 902-233-5111. Red and White Realty with Mr. Thomas Meissen, your real estate pro. Ladies and gentlemen, Leona Burkey's got another song for us right here live in the Wolf's Den.
All right. I'm going to play you a weird song.
For me?
Yes.
Excellent.
It is for you.
Excellent.
This song is, it's on the new record.
Okay.
And it's called Fable. And it's loosely based on The Alchemist. But also, there's something in there kind of about, it's like my weirdest song. So I thought I would play it on the Wolf's Den. Why not?
Well, why not?
Anyway. But it's kind of, like, there's a bit of a, like, don't judge a book by its cover.
There you go. It's a perfect place for it to be.
Also, a little bit of respect for our elders is in there. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's right. I remember that young lady.
You know more.
I do.
So when did you forget your destiny, boy? You knew it once when you were young, before the world's weight crushed your joy, when your heart's voice was on the tip of your tongue. And now you stop for me.
Leona Burkey live in the Wolf's Den. My dear. Oh, I tell ya.
Can I cut you guys off just for 1 second?
Yeah.
We're going to be well over time.
Yeah.
So
I'll do my out now.
get your intros and stuff like that.
All right.
Because I know that you guys have great conversation, and I hate cutting conversation.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to ask everybody how they can get a hold of you now, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Leona, my dear.
Wayne.
Always such a pleasure to have
We
you in
always
the Wolf's Den.
overtalk this. We always
Well,
overtalk
you
this.
know what?
Okay.
That's just because we have fun.
That's
We
right.
could probably do 3 or 4 hours, no problem.
I know.
I know.
We'll have to do some extend
Well,
Wolf
you know what?
Den marathon sometime.
Let's do that this summer. We'll sit down somewhere as nice and sunny, and we'll just sit and chat for a couple
get
hours.
right after it.
Yep, exactly. Sit out and make sure we got lots of sunscreen and all that stuff on. Now I know, things are a little bit tighter, but how can people find you? How can they get a hold of you? How can they buy their music?
Yeah, well, I just put all the tracks up for like digital distribution. Yeah, physical copies. Let's see, they're going to all the Taz locations this week. So if you want to support local record shop,
Excellent.
I promise they will be there. There might be a storm tomorrow. So sometime this week, definitely by the end of the first week of February.
Yeah.
If you want a physical copy. New website's getting built right now, so you'll be able to
Perfect.
buy direct from that. But in the meantime, while you're waiting, the whole album is available on Bandcamp. So,
Excellent.
Yeah, Leona Burkey, like Turkey. You can find me
Lightly, yes,
easily.
yes.
Bandcamp is wonderful because it's own little indie community, but
you're not
when
really.
you support an artist, the funds go right to the artist, and
Excellent.
it's a very ethical way to support your favorite artist, right? With a direct downloads from Bandcamp. And I think in about a week or so you'll be able to find it on iTunes and Spotify and all the
right.
usual spots.
And
But I thought we want to make sure everybody that wants a physical copy kind of gets that in advance
Gets a
before
chance,
it's
yep.
available on the cheap. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. This is the way to get it, ladies and gentlemen. Support your local artists. Buy their music. Buy their merch. Go to their shows. Support them. Support the people that support them and the businesses that
For
support
sure.
them. Don't forget about your restaurants and your service industry right now. If they've
Yeah.
only got takeout, get it. If they can have you in to eat, go in to eat. And don't forget to tip your waitresses good. And
Don't forget.
don't forget your
And
masks.
if you find me, probably a really nice interactive place to find me right now while I make my new website, which is taking me a long time, is just come and visit me on Facebook, Leona Burkey Music, and if you just PM me or something, I'll get your record in the mail, and you'll get one of these sitting tight masks. The weirdest swag I've ever given
Ever
away,
made
but
out.
there it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we always say on the Wolf's Den, please, please, please be kind. Be nice to one another. And people inside your bubble, always, always, always hug the ones you love. Be kind, be nice. It doesn't take a whole lot. We'll see you back here. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to go down, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, ring that bell so you never, ever miss anybody like our great Leona. We'll catch you next week right here on the Wolf's Den Radio.